All very fascinating, and also interesting to me as I was reading the book, the connection which I hadn't made previously between Hinduism and traditionalism and the West, and how people could find an appeal in Hinduism, even if they weren't born in India or like come from that culture or whatever, and how they're connected, even though you sort of feel like today that they're very distinct and separate.
Sure, sure. I mean, there are deep roots to that, and some of them again are pretty sinister. But it is true. I mean, there are also some generic and historical connections between Hinduism and the pre-monotheistic mythologies of Europe. There are patterns that I used to teach Old Norse mythology here at CU
Oh, cool.
in Boulder, and it was something I love to talk about, the way that the Eddas, the historic documents of Old Norse mythology, replicated some of the patterns of Hinduism. The creation of the beginning of the world, a cow appears out of nowhere, and this signals some resonance with what people probably know about Hinduism and the veneration of cattle, but also the ordering of the gods in the Old Norse world that replicates this priest, warrior, merchant hierarchy. And that also parallels the languages. They're Indo-European languages throughout most of Europe, with the exception of Finnish, and some of its related languages, Estonian and Hungarian. All of those belong in the same broad language family as Sanskrit. So yeah, the pathways for lots of people to identify with Hinduism are many, really.
Fast. That was a way better answer than my question. Thank you for
Oh,
that. Do you think that there's a direct connection between the language and the culture being spread and these ideas existing, or are they just so common to human experience that they surfaced in different places and have commonalities just because we're all freaking human?
That's a huge question. I love the question. I cannot answer that, of course. That we do. I mean, we do know there are. I mean, the language tells us that there are actual, cultural connections and historical, anthropological connections between the people involved. But the concept of cyclicality, of course, is animated in the turning of the seasons. So that's an example of one way in which we might not be looking for civilizational or personal and societal connections between different societies that might endorse this way of thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fascinating.